What's going on, everybody? My name is Kim Drexel, and I have a special guest on today for episode 4, I think. Yeah, 3 consecutive weeks I'm going back to back to back, which is crazy. But I have my special guest on here today, and it is Mr. Sam the Man, as some people might know. But I'll let him talk about himself. I'll let him introduce himself, and I've known this man for about a good 8 years. But I'll let Sam talk.
Am I coming in now? Is this it?
Yeah, this is it, Sam.
Oh, you didn't give me a signal. You're just like, oh, go on mute. Well, anyways, hello, the Camden Drexel audience. I'm Sam, one of his good buddies, even though he got the math wrong. That's why I have the notes. It's 8 years. But yeah, we've known each other a good while. Not that long, but I guess the memories are bountiful and abundant enough that it just seems like that long. It must, but we met about 10th grade, so that means we've been knowing each other about 5 years, I guess.
No, we
That
knew
adds
each
up,
other
right?
in middle school.
Not really. I don't think
We
so.
talked
We
in
knew
middle
of
school.
each other. We didn't
We
talk.
talked a little bit in middle school because the eighth
Like,
grade
hi, how
trip
you
and
doing?
stuff. Yeah.
I wasn't on the 8th grade trip. What do you talk? What are you going on about?
Well, we mentioned you during the eighth grade trip, from what I remember. But yeah, we've
Well,
known
when
each other.
Harney fell in the bathroom?
Yes. Oh my God, we didn't even
That
talk
didn't
about
come up
that
last
during his
episode.
episode. Oh my
Yeah, you
gosh.
didn't talk about anything. It was just like, wow. Here's where we live, in case you were wondering, because that's important. He's giving away our like GPS location.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Sam was talking about that me before we even recorded or started recording the show today, and it's crazy. It's just the
Yes, because
things he
Camden
said.
Camden is very motivated in the social media right now, and he's been talking about this for a while. So, he brought it up to us a couple weeks, our friend group, which you've slowly been getting introduced to, of course. You've got the Harney episode already, episode 2, and the Mr. Mike episode, which is, as of recording this, coming out the day after, which I have yet to hear. So that's
It's
going to
really
be
good. You'll like it.
exciting. But
Yeah.
we have a real diverse group of friends, and I'm sure you're all going to be hearing from them sooner or later at some point, whether it be in person when we're all together or as Camden's doing it right now. But yeah, so we all know each other, and knowing that we've been talking to each other about it sometimes, when we're without Camden and we just see each other up home, because Camden is away at school, as I'm sure some of you have heard, down
Georgia.
in SCAD in the GA
Yeah.
for some reason, but
I
he
don't know.
he decided to leave us.
Oh no, he's happy that I left.
So
Sam is one of
yeah,
the people that are like that. It's pretty funny. Me and him have a good bond where we're like love hate relationship.
I'd say adore hate, but anyway,
Oh whatever.
we so yeah, but almost all of our other friends like stayed close to home. He's the only one that moved away. So it's good that we have this to sort of talk to him and keep in touch, but we keep in touch on the regular as well. But as I was saying, he's been bringing it up and we've been talking about it. So he asked us, you know, proposing us getting or proposing the idea to us and getting people together. Like, what are some things you'd want to do? What are things you want to talk about? And I said, well, we can really talk about anything. The only thing is just don't talk about where we live.
Harney.
And Zachary Harnishager.
Oh yeah, we'll talk
And
like Harney.
they don't get that because
Yeah, no, because he
we're,
uses
we're
deep
gonna
voice.
expose him. We're gonna expose him after this.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, just don't talk about where we live, and don't use full names. And within the first like 30 seconds, I want to say, of like the Harney episode, he's like, well, we're from upstate New York, Rochester to be exact. We have 4 high schools in our town.
Dude, I don't even know what got into him.
I
He
was like, he
just,
might have just screenshotted our Google Maps location and posted it on the podcast
I know. At least people
or
can only
whatever.
listen to it. So,
But yeah, he's given him his radio station as well. But he's one of our good friends. I'm sure he'll come up later, Mr. Harney.
yeah, no, you gave me an idea before we get into my quote and then how we met and other stuff that we're going to talk about in this episode. I actually would want to do a group podcast before I even come home. I think a lot of us would be down for that, and we all could talk about certain times we've been together and we'll see where that
Right.
goes. But that's just an idea, and I can propose that to them in our friend group, in our group
Well,
chat.
because
So
that's where most of the chaos happens is when we're together. Like
yeah,
sometimes we get a couple good stories, like when there's only like two of us together, like Camden and I, or Camden and Harney. Like you get some good stories, but when like it's the whole crew, like 4 or 5 of us, dude,
oh my gosh,
like there are times when we're just like on the floor. And I'm
oh
not just saying that because I know a lot of people like to think their friend group is like that, but
yeah.
ours is I think really special.
It is, and it took a while to put together, and we sometimes have people come in, sometimes people leave. But we have our foundation of people.
Oh, of course, and it's so diverse as well, and I think that's a good thing because it shows,
Yeah,
no judgment to anyone. Anyone can be friends, really.
yeah,
I mean, because you have the different types, the cliques, like back when we were in high school. Like it's just a bunch of like different people with different interests that can all come together and have a good time. Like you and I, of course, bonded over, TV
yep.
for some parts, and of course, collectibles.
Which we'll
But
get
you're
into.
close with, but yeah, we are going to get into that later. But then, like someone like Harney, who they've already met, is really into sports and more the athletic side, which you present and as well and inhabit. And then Mr. Mike, who they'll
Hmm.
who in episode 3 is another one that I connect with films and all that. So we have all sorts of different people, and then there's Mr. Nick, who's one that still has to be scheduled out
Oh,
here.
he will.
That's going to be a good one. He's big into the social media.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mr. Nick, who's like into anime. Harney does the sports. Camden
I'm
ties it
well
all
diverse.
together.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
So I'm like one of the people that does a lot of other stuff, and I that keeps me busy, and I'm happy with that. And that's why I get along with a lot of people's because I'm well diverse in a lot of stuff that people like. I'm not like certain things like Mike and Sam or with TV stuff, and I started getting anime because of Nick, and I'll get into that in his episode. But there's just a lot of things, but I'm just well diverse. That's why I get along with everybody in our friend group.
yeah, because you just don't leave us alone. But
Oh, shut
anyway,
up. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of laughs during this episode. But Sam, I actually have our
yes,
motivational quote for today, and it comes from Winston Churchill. It is
yes,
success
I
is not.
definitely didn't know that beforehand.
Oh, you definitely didn't. But all right, let me
Absolutely
restate
not.
it. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. What do you think about that, Sam?
It's true for all I can say, really. Like you if you go out, you can only limit yourself, really. Like if you get out of bed and you're just thinking to yourself, you're just laying there and you're thinking today's not going to be a good day. Like it damn well won't be. You have to go out there with the intention to do good. Even if you go out there and you get beaten down, spit on, it just goes awful. If as long as you're going out there with the motivation to do better, at least when you go to bed that night and you wake up the next day, you'll know what's in your way to get where you need to be and you can go beyond it.
I love that example. That was great, Sam. But what do you guys think about that? What do you think? Success is not final, failure is not fatal, but it is the courage that counts. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in a review or reply to the podcast or message me on social media. But what I think about that, it kind of relates to what Sam said. It's really you have to work at certain mini goals, I would believe. And guess what? The more you fail, the more you will succeed in your future because the hard work that you're putting into that makes you fail will definitely come as a win or something that is positive in the end. Because you have to keep going, and courage is definitely one of the biggest things with putting in hard work, with continuing or progressing into something.
Exactly. It's all about your own perspective.
It is, and perspective is a big word that people don't really understand. And if you definitely know different perspectives and you can see certain things, and especially in a conversation, you're definitely going to be well off, and you're definitely going to be not as worried or anxious. But yeah,
Okay, hang on. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Sam was
Can you see
lagging a
me?
little
Are,
bit.
are we
Yeah,
in time?
yeah,
Yeah,
Sam was
okay.
lagging a little
You,
bit,
you
but
can
we're
clip
good.
this out, right?
Oh no, we don't need to clip it out. It's fine. We'll keep it raw.
Okay, because you were just like talking like you were in slow motion.
That was on your
And I
end.
was like, I didn't know if it would catch up right away or if it would be
Yeah, no, it was
delayed.
just your video. You're fine.
Oh, gotcha.
But
The hassle of doing it live.
it is the hassle. At least it's not live. But Sam, how did we meet? I'll leave it up to you.
Okay. I'm gonna wear my voice down for this one. So, like I said, we met in about 10th grade, which was probably early 2018. I want to say, and that's easy to remember because I think it was an English class where we really got to know each other better. And it's easy to remember because I actually got lucky in high school. I'll talk about it more later as far as English goes because of some of the teachers we had. But I think I first meeting Camden was through probably a mutual friend. It was probably through Harney. I want to say, and we just, got to know each other more that way. Like, oh, that's Camden. This is Sam. Like, we got introduced through him and from communicating. I don't think we had been to any like birthday parties or anything like that together where we were both invited to one and hung out at one of those, which happens a lot now and later on. But in 10th grade, as I said, the English class is where we got to know each other because him and I were in the same one. And that year in high school, because I lucked out. So my 9th grade year, and in New York, where we're from, we have 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. I know some states are different depending on where you're listening, but those 4 years are high school for us. And we got into the same class. So for 3 of my 4 years, I actually had the same teacher for English. And the last 2 years, she was with another teacher who are some of our friends. Like all of our friends have pretty much had these two people, and we absolutely adore them. They're like the best teachers of all time, like the kind you hear about in movies and stuff, like the best you could want.
Yeah.
But for this 1 year in English, I had one different teacher, and it was the year Camden and I were in the same class. And she was kind of like a more meek, very, very, very quiet lady, a very stereotypical
Old school
English teacher, like type.
Yeah.
And that's not to be derogatory or anything like that. I don't mean anything by that. She was a nice lady, at least to us. Yeah. I think. I don't know how you were with her, but we had the misfortune of like our class that year was a lot of like, I don't want to be mean, but like the school assholes.
They were. No, I agree with you.
It was like all like the delinquents or like the jocks that thought they were better than everyone else. And they would give this poor lady such a hard time. And she's actually disabled a little too. Not like mentally, but like hearing impaired.
Oh yeah.
So they would like get her on that, which is a shame. But Camden and I were always real good terms with her.
Yeah, we were.
Didn't get to know her as well as some of our other teachers. She was a nice lady.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there, just to say in case we say something about the other kids later on.
Exactly.
Having a rough time. I think that's the only class too where I ever like flubbed an assignment, but really? I don't want to go off on that now. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Because there's a story I want to tell about you.
Real okay.
Because every day, so meeting through Harney, Camden and I would just start chatting more casually in that class because that's where we saw each other the most. Because I don't think we didn't sit together at lunch. I was sitting with other people at that time. Yeah. And so I don't know how it came about, but we just started saying each other's names really loudly anytime we saw each other. Every morning, because our English class was in the first half of the day. It was before lunch.
It was like at
I think
10,
second or third block.
10:30 to like 11:30 or something like that.
Second or third block, right? So, like we would just walk in, and whoever got in there, after the first one, walk in.
Wait, I have the video. Can I play it?
Day. Oh,
I have the video. Okay. I'm gonna play it.
And. Yeah, there you go.
Oh wait.
Back. Oh.
There's another video. So we had like this whole thing between me, Sam, and a couple other people. But we were talking about who's on top, like tier list wise. And I have that video too. Let me play it.
I remember this. I remember that too. I was going to talk about it.
Who's on top? I'm on top. I'm on top too.
And then Sam used to always have a pencil in his hair. Oh my god.
I did, because my hair was different. I used to slot the pencil behind my ear. It was an easy way to get to it in school. You never lost it.
Yep.
I just don't do it enough. I could do it with my pen, but it doesn't fit the look. It's not as hip as the youth would say. Uh,
But
so back to that class though. So every day we would do that, walk in and just say each other's name as loud as we could because we always got there early.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
like one of the first one or two. But this man, when I tell you, he slaps your hand as hard as he can. He would like pull it back behind his shoulders like a bow and arrow, like he was charging it up, and it would like it hits your palm like slaps it. So that's what we did. We just do like the hardest, most intensely grabbing handshake of all time. That's just what I remember most from most of those times. But then it started progressing outside of that class because I guess he liked me for some reason and thought I liked him. So what's the harm? Because I do, of course, now. And I would. So yeah, it started growing beyond that.
Fast forward to 11th grade about Uno.
Well, hang on, because like I would like, all right, I walk into school, I'd be like, all right, I don't have to see this ginger for like another 2 hours, like 2 more blocks. I'm good. So I'd be getting in there, walking off the bus, walking in the doors, and I just hear someone shout my name like as loud as they could, and I'm like, oh fuck. Like, watch, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I gotta deal with this already. And like I turn around and there's this pale as a ghost ginger hustling towards me. He wasn't running, but he was walking brisk enough to know, like, oh, he's coming for me.
And I had my headphones on too in the morning, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
Sam.
Sam. So like he couldn't even hear how loud he was.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And that's what I remember. But that class in particular, there's a story that I remember. It's one of the only few like canon stories that I have where it was just him and I there.
Exactly.
So our desks in school, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but they're like the metal ones. They weren't the ones that were separate.
Oh yeah, I know the story.
So they're linked together. So they got the four legs, the table, and there's a chair that's hooked up to it, and the two legs, they each have a beam in between to keep them supported from collapsing. And a lot of them were broken, or like the desks, they've been there a while. But on one of them, the one that was next to him, and I think I was sitting behind him at this point. So I'm like in a row, like a couple back close to the back of the room, and he's in the row like to my left, a couple seats further up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but he was messing with the desk of the person next to him or something like that. He was looking at it because it was broken, and he just grabbed the rod and bent it all the way out into the aisle, so it almost blocked the whole thing. And our teacher was very, like quiet earlier, as I said. She turns around and she just looks. She goes like very softly, like points at, like she couldn't comment. She's like, "What is this?" And she just looks like to see who did it, like real calm. I was like, I don't know, but someone's gonna get hurt. He's like looking at like he didn't do it.
Nope, I
He's
didn't
like,
do it.
don't worry, I'll take care of it. Like, and he just takes it and he rips the thing off the desk. So he just has his steel rod in his hand. And the teacher's like, well, looking at him like he's like, this idiot go and do that for? And she's like, just go put it in the garbage. So he goes, he tosses it out, chucks it, goes on with the rest of our day. We leave class, and he like hustles up behind me after we leave. He goes, hey, look what I got. And he held it up in his hand. He went back and got it out of the garbage. It's like, great, well, have fun. I'm sure you can do a lot with that. So we go our separate ways, and later in the day, close to the end of the day, I was in a class with another guy who at that time you and I kind of talked to. You knew him on the bowling team.
Mm-hmm.
You like rang him up in class, and you answered, and he was like, man, I'm stuck with this rod now. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I can't keep walking around with this rod all day. I gotta get rid of it. He was like, well, I don't know what you're calling me for. I'm like, I'll take it. So like he got up, but I wouldn't go get it. You were like, you wanted me to meet you in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
To, like take the rod away. I was like, fuck no, I'm not going in the bathroom now. Cause it's weird.
Was it in your tech class?
Meeting a ginger. It was earth science. Earth science, I think.
No, it wasn't. No, because you were... No, I think it might have been study hall for both of us. We were in different study halls, and I went to Doty's room because Doty was in there, and he didn't care. I remember that.
I don't remember. All I know is that we had science class because I remember the teacher.
Yeah.
So he wanted to go meet in the bathroom. I said no because it's weird going in the bathroom with another guy, let alone a ginger. I can't have that on my reputation. And B, because like our school was plagued with jewelers at that point. Like you would go in there to take a dump, and there would be like, or you just pee or something, and there would be like 3 kids standing there. Like they turn around, like you're inconveniencing them by using the bathroom, interrupting their little smoke session, setting off the fire alarms.
Yep.
But so what ends up happening is this guy that we knew walked up to the door. You came to our room, and you were like waiting outside, like peeking in, like look at where are they? And he just went up to the door, and you just like slid it through and gave it to him, and he walked in like it was a drug deal, like you're just dealing him this rod.
Oh my god.
And I stuck it in my laptop case and snuck it out of school and brought it home. And like my mom saw it, she's like at that time, she's like, "What are you gonna do with that?" I'm like, "You kidding me? It's for home invasion."
Oh my god. Do you still have
And
it?
yeah, I do.
No way.
It's sitting on my dresser. I'm not kidding. Like someone breaks into my house, I'll throw that shit at them right lickety split, knock their ass out.
Dude, that's such a sick story. Holy crap.
Well, after like when I brought it home, I think my grandma was there that day. She picked that thing up. She was like, "That's not gonna do anything." Like no. But no, I kept it. I kept it as a memento of like my times with the ginger in school. And I think that wraps up. That's just meat. I guess that would kind of go for best times together too.
And the thing is too, and then fast forward a couple grades or like a grade or whatever, and we go and we had this like little club. And about Uno, I'll let you introduce it.
Oh, this is good. This is just gonna be me rambling. This isn't the Camden Drexel show anymore.
This is the Sam the
I
Man Rambling
I should have
show.
prefaced this beforehand. Like I ramble. Like once I get going on a story, I have to
That's
tell the
fine.
whole thing,
A lot
all
of
the
people.
details.
You guys
You
got
got to
to know Sam a
interject
little
though.
more.
Yeah, you should interject though too.
That's
I
fine.
want them to hear you as well. But we had this club. This was 12th grade. I know because I know where you're going with. This is good.
11th going into 12th. Yeah.
Well, yeah, cool. Because 11th grade, depending on when you're listening to this, our 11th grade year was cut short, as a lot of people were
Because of
by
COVID.
the COVID pandemic, which happened. So that was our 2020, end of our 2020 year. And going into our school year, we didn't know what the layout was going to be. So how for us, we know for some people it was different during that time. We would go in the beginning of the week. They lengthened our blocks. So we only had 4 classes a day. Usually where we went, we had about 7 or 8 and our lunch. But they lengthened them into 4 blocks, which was normal for some other schools, even in our area. So you would go and one Monday, you would have a first set of classes. Then you would have the second set the next day. So the classes you didn't have before. Then Wednesday, we didn't have any school at all. We had nothing. It was an online or virtual day, as they called it, which basically meant a day where everyone got to sleep in and not have to wake up on time, do their assignments.
You know what's weird?
Stuff like that. What's that?
That kind of actually got me used to my college schedule that I'm doing now because it's the same 10 weeks. On Monday and Wednesdays, I have the same classes. And on Tuesday, Thursdays, I have the same classes, which is really convenient. So I'm thankful for that.
So on our Thursday and Friday, we would have the same classes again, like the Monday, Tuesday layout. But Wednesday, it was a free day. So after about 6 months, I'd say like maybe half the year of us just having a virtual day for that day, things started to lighten up. You know, vaccines were coming out, people were getting the shots and all that. Mandates were tensions were going down, like things were calming down a little bit.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna bring people into school on the Wednesdays, but only if they need help. So you can schedule times with your teachers. Teachers are gonna come in. If they want to schedule hours for you to help, they're gonna do that. But what some teachers also had the opportunity to do was to do clubs or where they could host activities where kids could come together and just hang out after being apart for so long and having so many restrictions between them and not being able to socialize like they used to in school. So our 2 teachers, which I mentioned before, who I said were like the best teachers in the world, which as far as I'm concerned, they were, like, especially in high school. They decided to host a game club every Wednesday morning, probably about.
No, not Wednesday morning. It was either after school or it was like
Well,
it was
no,
our
it was
last block of
Wednesday.
the day.
No, it was Wednesday morning
Oh,
because
okay.
it wasn't the study hall, because we would have study halls where we would come in and we would just screw around in that class with those two too. Like, and the teachers would play games with us. I
Yeah.
hope I don't get them in trouble, but they would hang out
Yeah.
and we would just have a good old time. And they were fun knew how to take jokes. They were just fun to chill with. It was like just like chilling with family friends more than
Yeah.
teachers. They were just great people.
They were.
But the Monday club just turned into an Uno club, which is a huge game between our friend group now, mainly because of that time together. But everyone just liked Uno, and we would get like our teacher would go to the store and he would bring in like new decks. Like we had the Office deck, we had the He-Man deck, just like all the different decks. And eventually, we just started joking around like we should have like a belt or like a medal or something that whoever wins the tournament that week can take home and just walk around school, whatever, brag about it. No one cared except for like the 5 or 6 of us that came every morning, but we were like, it
Yep.
still feels good.
It does.
Still feels good to have it.
How many times did you win it?
I think I won the tournament 2 or 3 times. I know I was tied with someone because we kept track on the blackboard in that room. There was this whole corner designated for our Uno tournament.
I think I won it once. Yeah.
You might have. I should say that during these Uno weeks, Camden was more of an onlooker than a participant. I will say he was just there more for the company. I don't think his Uno skills really shone through. Hopefully, yeah, he's gotten a little better though.
I
have to whip the cards out. But to signify the significance of winning the Uno tournament each week, the following week after we joked about having a medal, our teacher who hosted it walked in with one of those big plastic WWE belts you get at like Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
It has like the Velcro straps you can wear on it. It had the big W. And he said, whoever wins the tournament this week gets to take the belt home and can decorate it however they want for like everyone else to wear. Like, so they win it that week. They get to decorate the thing for the whole rest of the, it's setting the precedent,
Yeah.
And that week I happened to win and I was like, man, I'm going all out. So I printed out, like, I decked it out nice. I walk in, I unzip my jacket and flash that thing like like the doves flew out from behind me, like a choir started singing, like, ah.
Yeah, you wish.
Yeah. So that's how that came about, and that was our hangout club, and that's where we really, Camden and I, started hanging out with a bunch of our other friends too, because Harney was there.
Yep.
Our friend, whenever we say, we have a lot of Zachs in our friend group. I should just say that outright.
So we gotta mention their last name, basically.
So Harney is a Zach, but whenever we say Harney, it's Harney.
Yeah.
We also have a friend, Laposa, who's a Zach. We call him Laposa. Whenever we say Zach, it's referring to our friend Zach. We won't say his last name because we said his first name, but there's a Zach who has won the title of Zach because he just doesn't, his last name isn't like as zingable as the other gentleman.
And the thing is too, he was the one that said "to" at, like, in the background with Harney in his episode. So
right, he was a little cameo they had.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was there during Uno days playing Zach, and our other buddy Laposa and the Coonster, who
Cooney, I gotta have him on the podcast. Come on,
who's one of our friends. And the Coonster actually won the tournament. I remember. I think he won 4 weeks
in a row. Yeah.
Just keep in mind, we only did this half the year, and that was only the school year at that. So like we only did this probably 20 times. And only a couple of times we ended up keeping track. We didn't have the belt the whole time. So I think he won 4 times. And then Hari and I were tied for second most wins with 3. And then beyond that, it was only like 1 or 2 each for whoever else was there. And I still have the belt, even though it got trashed because Harney manhandled it in his backpack.
Yeah, for a while. I remember that. But then fast forward now from like 12th into or 11th into 12th grade. and we
Yeah.
get in your graduation. We're all sitting at the table if we had lunch together that one day out of the week. And Harney was on the bowling team with me, and I'd see Sam at lunch or in study hall. And then we get close to graduation. Mind you, school was still weird with masks and all that stuff. And near the end of the school year, they got a little more lenient. But our graduation, we had to pick a group of 10 people, and each person could bring 10 people for it. And we graduate with that group of people.
I thought it was 8.
Or 8. It was 8. It was 8.
It was 8.
You're right. So
it was 10 people. Wait, was it 8 people in the group to graduate like across the stage together, or
Yes.
that you could bring?
No, it was 8 people that go on across the stage together, and then 10 people.
And then they
could
each
bring
got to bring
10
8.
people. No, you got to bring 10 people.
I thought it was 8 and 8.
No,
It was 10. Okay, fine. I'm blank. I have to go through and write down and see who I
Yeah.
had there. I can't remember.
but who was in our graduating group? It was me, you, Harney, Zach, Richard.
It was me, Ginge. That's Camden. In case you didn't know, he's a ginger. That's why we all give him crap for it. It's fun.
Yeah. The 2 Zach,
But
or Harney
you know,
and the Zach.
Harney, Zach,
Cooney.
the Coonster. It was hang on, I'm gonna write them down. The ones I remember, because I don't want to say some people's names because we don't really talk to them much anymore. But is it backwards?
No, I can see it.
Okay, so I know there was one. I'm trying to think
Yep.
of who else.
Matt, yep. And then, I
Agent
don't
Harney,
know.
Zach Coonster.
Matt is in our friend group as well, but he likes messing with me a little too much.
No, not that Matt.
Oh,
That one didn't graduate.
Oh yeah, that. Oh, I forgot about that. No. So it was a different Matt. The Matt that he was
So that's
presenting
1,
to
2,
me on the
3,
stream.
4, 5, 6. So that would have been 2 more, right? Or were there only 6 of us allowed?
No, there's 2 more, but I forgot the names. But the other Matt was on the bowling team
Right.
with me. But
So there was only 8.
Yeah.
I remember who I brought though.
But then we all graduate. We all had fun. I was supposed to see Sam's dad, by the way, but that didn't happen because I
Oh.
had to leave because I had family from out of town in. So, but
Right.
then
He goes like everyone. I guess there was this aura of mysteriousness surrounding my dad. So like whenever I would bring him up, like he's a very macho, intense man. I'll say that. So everyone wanted to meet him, and Camden especially. So he, walked up. He's like, "Oh, dude, I got to meet your dad. Is your dad gonna be there? I want to meet him." I was like, "Sure thing." Because I already met Cam's. I was gonna meet Camden's dad as well, because Camden and I would joke about it. Just say his dad's name because it's Chad. He's Chad the dad, so that would always come up. So I met his dad there. Like he was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." So we finally got that out of the way.
But
I can't see it, but so we got that out of the way. So I go get my dad, and I'm like, "Oh, looking for everyone that we just came off the stage." And I turn around, and Camden's just gone. Like he dipped.
yeah, we took
Like,
pictures
nothing,
and left.
see ya, nothing. They just got the group photo, and they were just gone, zipped out of there. So I think the only one that met my dad was Harney,
Yep.
and Harney was quite petrified. He was no,
Oh no.
because my dad just shook his hand, and he was just staring Harney dead in the eyes, and Harney I just saw Harney's eyes just go like this.
Oh no. Oh no.
Because I still ask Harney about that sometimes. I was like, "Do you remember meeting my dad?" He was like, "Yeah, I remember. It was that was intense. Yeah."
Yeah.
Because he was he's a nice guy though.
Yeah. Okay. So to get in our best times with each other. So as
Yes,
of last year, as I mentioned in the podcast that's coming out tomorrow with Mike and all that stuff in about 12 hours after recording this. So Sam was hanging out with me and Mike and then his brother Nick, and we're hanging out a lot. I got to see them a lot last year. I won't spoil the episode for you, but we hung out at Matt and or not Matt G or no, we hung out at the land, we call it, with Sam. That was a fun time. I'll let you get into that, but then also Sam actually helped my sister move in, which was greatly appreciated. I really thank you, Sam, for that, and
Oh,
helping her build the stuff at her apartment and all that. That was a fun time moving
build
her.
build this stuff. How's your sister doing?
She's doing all right
She
from what I
good?
know.
And
I
your
haven't
little
talked to her much.
niece.
Oh yeah, Mila's Mila. She's a pain in the neck,
Yeah.
but love her to death.
So what part of the land story are you getting at?
No, I talk about it in the Mike episode, but I was talking
What
about the trailer.
with the oh
The trailer, dude. That was
oh.
talk about the
So,
buggings
yeah.
in it. Get into it.
Oh, that part too. Yeah, this is good because I forgot about some of these. This is why you're the host. You're the
Yeah,
curator. You just give me the starting point. I just take off. So we get invited to go up to this land. So we are more in a suburban area. We're not city. We live outside of a big city. It's probably one of the top 5 biggest cities in New York. It's not New York City or Syracuse or Buffalo. We're about in between them. So we live outside the city, and I cannot take it. What are you doing? I think it's empty, pal. He's shaking his water bottle.
No, there's
like he's,
ice in there.
so what? He's shaking his water bottle like he's stuck out in the desert, and it's the last water he has for like 400 miles.
I got the
So
piece
anyway.
of ice. Sorry, guys, if that was loud.
Our buddy Mike and his brother Nick, you got the Mike episode before this one, episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Their family, we just started getting to know them, actually. I think you got to know them more around the same time I did.
Yeah.
We got invited to their house for a 4th of July party. And before this, I didn't really know Mike and Nick very well. We are extremely close now after a couple months, but this was the first time of us really hanging out. Because before that, we would just see them at our mutual friend Harney, who seems to be like the spider tying all the webs of the friend group together. He would have us all over at his birthday parties, and that's where we got to know each other through him. So Mike, I guess, liked us enough to invite us over to his house for 4th of July. So we met their family, his mom and stepdad and their sister. And after that one time, I think you and I might have hung out with them one more time.
Maybe.
And then late August, so about a month and a half, almost 2 months later, Mike, we were just hanging out at one of our other buddy Matt's house, and Mike was just talking about how they're going out. Their family has land about hour and a half south of us. So we're like, oh, that sounds cool. He's like, we got a trailer up there. It's just good. I think it's 40 acres. I can't remember, 20 or 40. It's something 40, like that. Yeah. It's a good amount. It's a handful. It's more than any, it's more than a casual amount like that your house would be sitting on. So we get invited to go up there. And we drive up there. You got there late.
Yeah, because I had to work.
You did. You got delayed at the McDonald's.
Oh, shut up.
Doing the good work for everyone.
Whatever.
So he came up with one of our other buddies. So I drove up there with Matt, who's our buddy. We got up there, and he's like, I didn't realize how rural it was going up from the city. So it gets more and more green, because where we live, it's great because you could be from the city within like 10 or 15 minutes out into the country. It's real nice.
That is real nice.
So we go up there through the mountains, driving up like along rivers. It was end of summer. It's beautiful.
It is.
I didn't ever realize really how nice upstate New York is until that really opened me up to it.
Yeah.
But our buddy Mike texted us, and he says, he gave us an address for a gas station. He says it's so isolated up there that you can't get like a GPS for where we are. So go to the gas station. Chris, their stepdad, will drive down, meet you there, and bring you up. We got to follow him. So we go up, and after about 10 minutes, the truck turns left and starts going off-road between like 2 houses. It's on this narrow, just dirt path up through the trees into the woods, and you go up through the woods probably after about like an eighth of a mile, I think. and it just opens up into this beautiful, like, cut, nice open plot of land up in upstate. Like, nothing to see around. There's no light pollution. There's no buildings. There's nothing. It's just
Yep.
nice open area.
I loved it.
And there's right close to where you come off the path is like close to where the wood line is, where you pull out in your car when you're coming up off through the woods. And it goes down for probably about another like eighth of a mile. It stretches out. That's cut. Real close to where you come off the woods, there's a big hill with a camper on it, a nice new camper. Behind the camper, between the wood line, close to the far side of their land, is a barn. And then where they have tractors and stuff, it's a sizable barn. And then the place where you park your cars. So right by the wood line where the barn is, a little farther up ahead, right up against it, is another trailer. So we pull up in there and unload. A couple of our other friends were already there. Harney was already there, and of course, Mike and Nick. And their mom, sister, everyone, their whole crew, and their stepbrother, who's a pretty wild guy. Might talk more about him.
No, we'll talk about him another time.
Right, but he might come up later in the story. I'm just saying. So we get out of the car. Chris comes down to greet us. He's like, "Hey, how you guys doing? You know, thanks for coming up." Like Christine, their mom drives by in a go-kart. Like people are going wild on ATVs. It was nuts. So you can just go crazy up there. It's just a fun time. Like where guys can be dudes.
Exactly.
So Chris comes over. He's like, "How you guys doing?" We just greet each other. We see the nice trailer up on the hill. Like, man, they're living good up here. Because, like, the Tomorrows, we didn't know. Like, they have a nice house and stuff like that. But, each time we would go over there, like, there would just be something new. Like, "Oh, do you want to come out with the boat this weekend? Like, you guys have a boat?" They're like, "Yeah, we got a boat."
I didn't go on it. I wish.
Yeah, we weren't there. We were busy.
Yep.
But this summer probably. But like each time there was just like something new that they had like about them, like something fancy. Like they're like, "Oh yeah." So that's when the land got sprung on us, which is what it's just known as. It's just the land.
Exactly.
So we get there, nice trailer. We get out. Chris is like, "All right, let me show you where you're staying." So he brings us to like this shitty, like rusty, like paint falling off it trailer by the woods. He's like, "This is where the guys are going to be staying tonight." And like we get in there.
It's actually, it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't.
But like compared to the one on the hill, he's like, "This is the one that used to be here until I got the new one."
Yeah.
So we're like, "It's nice enough." We go in there. He's like, "First of all, the bathroom doesn't work, so you have to go out and piss into the woods. Don't even like ask me yet what you have to do if you have to go number 2." So no running water, no electricity, no Wi-Fi. Out there, there's Wi-Fi up close to the main camper, which is like the home base.
Yep.
But not out by our trailer. So we have fun throughout the day. We watch a movie. We watch Step Brothers, have a campfire, do s'mores. All good. So we get into this camper, and keep in mind, there are 7 men that are going to be sleeping all together in this tiny confined space that night. So I don't know how it worked. So like the main family would stay up in the camper, and the boys, including the 2 brothers, stayed down there with us. So we try and figure out what the sleeping arrangement is.
Yep.
You walk in, there's the main room. It has an air mattress,
pull-out couch,
a couch that folds out into a mattress. It has a dining room table, which some of you might know in a camper. You flatten that down, it becomes a bed. You lay the pillows on top of it.
Yeah.
We have the main room in the back of the camper that has about a queen-size bed in it. And the door, it's like it's the main bedroom. Yeah. And on the opposite end of the camper from that, by where the bathroom should be, that doesn't work, there are 2 bunk beds that have a curtain that close them off. It's like a shower curtain. You slide it over and it clicks into the wall. So we all kind of worked out where we were going to be. Our buddy Mike and Matt slept on the pull-out couch. Harney slept on the air mattress. Zach slept on the table. You really wanted to sleep in the back room with Nick for some reason. You were like adamant about it.
I wanted to sleep in the back room.
To where it was almost a problem. Like people were like, Mike was like, "I don't know who's going to like, I don't know why he's got to sleep back there with Nick. The arrangements were already made." Like he's real particular about stuff like that.
Well, no, I can't. Dude, Harney sleeps and he moves. I can't deal with that at all.
He moves?
No, he not moves. He moves. Like he moves into sleep, flaps his arms and all sorts of stuff.
Well, like the noise?
No.
Because he was sleeping by himself. So anyway, Camden gets his way. He goes in the back, and I got stuck on the bunk beds by myself. So I was sleeping on the bottom when I had no one else in there with me. So it's kind of private. It was nice. So we wrap up by the camper. We say goodnight. We go into this camper, and for being in a camper with 6 other men, Harney got naked in a concernably quick amount of time.
Not
Like
really.
we figured out.
He was wearing.
No. We got in there. The door shut, and he looked down at the air mattress. He's like, "All right, I'm sleeping here. All right, well, pants are coming off, boys." And he just like right then and there, all just full on out and just crashed like in his underwear.
Oh my gosh, dude, that was funny.
So we all we're like, all right, well, we all go to bed, and I'm sleeping in this, back room. And keep in mind, it's a decent enough camper, but it's not as well maintained, you'd figure, as the main one. So there's like stuff crawling over there, like cobwebs, kind of a little dusty. So I look over, and on my curtain, the door that keeps it closed, like the little, I don't know how to explain it, kind of accordions. There is like a giant like millipede or like a spider or something, and I am like, fuck that. So I like swat it off the door, and it lays on the ground, and I like kicked it out into the main room, and I was like, it's your problem now, guys. And I just slammed it back closed, and I heard y'all scampering and scattering out there.
Oh, well, not me. Me and Nick were fine.
So you were in the back room, but like I think Zach ended up throwing it outside. But like there was like ants crawling up my arm while I was trying to sleep and shit like that. Like it was nuts. Like we survived though. But Nick is kind of a night owl. So he like stayed up until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning watching anime.
No, he stayed up
They're
till
sleeping.
like 2. I went to bed at like 1.
Yeah. But before him and Nick went to bed together, they they shut the door, and they were just making obnoxiously like crude noises.
It was
Like
so
loud,
funny.
like we were all trying to sleep. We were laughing.
Dude,
We just couldn't sleep.
We were all
We went to
making
bed.
each
We were
other
in there
laugh.
like goofing around for like an hour,
Oh, we were.
just laughing so hard, like each in our like own little separate parts of the camper.
And the funny
So
story
we
is,
finally
hold on.
settled.
Hold
Yeah,
on. So actually, that next morning, their
yeah, that's
mom
what I was
and
getting at.
okay, then you get
No,
into
there.
it.
So we wake up the next morning, not thinking anything of it. We walk up to the main camper, which is a good distance away, like on top of the hill. And their sister was standing outside, and she goes, she knows, I heard you guys screaming out there until like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? Like maybe like they were moaning and making all kinds of like crazy, like gross, crude noises, and like their poor mother and sister were like up in the camper.
Oh my gosh.
Like, cause I didn't ask their brother if they heard it, their stepbrother, because like we all go out to bed, and he just like stayed outside and slept in like a fucking plastic lawn chair by the
He just
campfire
passed out. It was
with
so
his hood
funny.
up. They just left him there
Oh my gosh.
outside to the elements. But no, yeah, that's the land story. It was the next day. These poor people exposed to Camden and his shenanigans, keeping everyone awake.
That wasn't me. That was Nick too, not just me.
Sure, pawn it off on him. Nick was an unwilling victim.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't say no though,
Yeah.
so it was good.
Yeah. No, that was one of the best times that we definitely have had recently.
Yes, after having kind of like a more heated moment earlier on in the evening,
Yeah.
because I'll just tell it real quick. While we were up there, their stepbrother, shows us he has like this industrial, like military grade laser pointer.
Oh,
It's
here.
green.
Yep.
So it's a green beam. It's not a red one. The red one's like the kind the teachers use in school. Shine. It doesn't go very far. The green one is the kind that it just keeps going until it has something to stop on and reflect on. So these are the kinds that like people, you shine them up at like aircraft or something like that. They send the military or like the cops or whoever, the feds, to come and get you
Uh-huh.
because it can go that far and take a plane down if it gets in the pilot's line of sight. So their stepbrother was like, dude, don't shine this laser pointer like anywhere. You just got to point at the ground or straight ahead, but don't mess around with it, okay? Because it's like nuts. You could get in serious trouble for it. So like he gives us all that talk, and then I was sitting there chatting, and we turn around, and you or something were like shining, like, ooh,
No,
like up in the air. Yes, you were.
I
You were
flashed it real quick up
flashed
into
it
the
real
sky.
quick, but he did it right when we were all like, we all turned around just in time to see it. He thought he could get away with it. Like, what are you doing? So that kind of set people on edge a tad, but it all calmed down a little after that.
Yeah.
And because someone kept pulling Harney's pants down, we were in the woods. Like, which
No.
is
Okay. So there's a story before that. So freaking we were just messing around throwing the football with each other, and me, Mike, Harney, and whoever it was. And Harney just comes over and pushes me for no reason. I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And then he does it again, and we were walking to do our like walk around that land and stuff. And he says something, and it really ticked me off. So I just pushed him and said something to him, and I think I scared him a little bit. And he's like, "Okay, okay,
well,
okay,
because
we're
it was
good."
dark and we were about to walk into the
Yeah,
woods,
and I was
like
like,
going a
"Dude,
little
chill."
trek.
But yeah, but Sam, you want to talk about the, or I'll talk about it a little bit, and then I'll let you get into it. So Sam's
Yeah,
the
you
one
go
that
on, brother.
introduced me to Funko Pops and Funko sodas. And I
That
love
is
it still,
correct.
but I'm very picky about them. Like I'll get football ones, I'll get certain shows that have Funko Pops, and then just whatever. Sam will be like, "Oh, what do you think about this one? Oh, I found a chase." Cause Sam does his own thing with Funkos. He's done them since basically they came out, but I'll let him get into that. But Funkos are definitely a big part in my life now because of Sam, and it has helped our friendship a lot.
Right, because it gave us something to bond over,
Exactly.
collectibles. I am probably the biggest collectible guy in our friend group. If there's one thing that I can be known for amongst all of us, it's probably that. Like I like to collect. I've always done it since maybe like I was 4 years old. I got really into. I saw the first Transformers movie in 2007, and that just sparked it for me. Like the next time we were at Walmart, I was like, "Mom, do they have any this thing called Transformers?" And she's like, "Oh, let me look." So she goes over, she tells me what they have. I got one, and that started the whole thing. So Transformers has been like the main consistent thing that I collect, which is not embarrassing to admit at all. I'm a mature
No, Transformers. It's a
20 year
manly
old
thing.
man, but it's also, which I'll get into later on, you don't realize how much of an investment it actually is, and it can help and procure money and growth in a lot of ways. So I started off with that, and I would always Transformers would be my mainstay in collecting. But every so often, I'd have another thing that would last maybe about a year each. I would go through different phases of collecting like a certain thing for a year, and then move on to something else,
I think
and
that's what
kind of like
I'm
get
doing
bored
right
with
now.
it.
I think that's what I'm doing because I'll just
Right.
talk about mine and then I'll let Sam get back into his story. But right now for me, like I got into Funko Pops, then I got into sodas, and then I'm still in both of them. But right now I'm into collecting certain chases for comic books. But I'll let Sam
We'll
explain
get
what
into what that
chases
is
are.
too.
But I'm starting to collect different variant covers that I like because I have a Spider Punk one because I'm a big Spider Punk guy and I freaking love it. But I'll let Sam get back into his story.
So I, right about when I got into eighth grade or ninth grade, high school,
Hmm.
I started getting into these things, which I'm sure it's probably impossible for people to not know about at this point, called Funko Pops, because they're like
Everywhere.
everywhere basically now. And like I'll just see videos of people like looking for them. I'm like, I don't see what the big deal is. It's just a little like tiny body with a big head, like a figurine. I just didn't see what it was, but then I just started seeing them around. Like, oh, I'll get one, which is always how it starts.
Hmm.
And then it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. So I think at my peak, like after about 2 or 3 years, I had 500 figurines of these, of all different values, varieties, whatever. And I was just like, that is way too much. Like they were taking up, like I had shelves all around. I have a whole room for my collection. It was just taking up like all the walls, like on the floor. So like I got to start narrowing them down. And that's when I started primarily to realize how much value they have and get into selling, which has been something that I continue to do and invest in Funkos and collectibles as a whole and realize the real value a lot of that carries. But Camden, through talking, I don't know, I'm sure I brought it up, just my interest in it, casually, and he mentioned he had a couple too. So I was like, oh, that's neat. And I actually ended up selling him a couple in our later years of high school. That's what got me and him to bond a little more, him and I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And like the wrestling ones and all that, because I had a couple of them, even though I'm not as fluent in wrestling as he is, and our other buddy Mike, who are probably the big sports guys.
I'm the big wrestling fan in the
But eventually, like after I got my car and I could go out and start hunting by myself, I would say at that point, probably around the end of high school, like 2020, I started to die down in the Funkos as a whole. I just started to get bored with it. In 2021, I just was primarily focused on selling. I mean, dwindling my collection down.
Mm-hmm.
But around that time, I would still go out and hunt, like for all sorts of other stuff. And I got my car for graduation. And at that point, it was crazy. Like you have free reign, you can go wherever you want, like whatever stores. Because before then, like my grandmother was real generous with her time. She would drive me around and take me to look for collectibles. Maybe like every Wednesday was my like collectible hunt day. I would go out and look and try and find neat new stuff.
Interesting.
But like my car, like go wherever I want, whenever I want. And I could start taking friends to go out too. So Camden and I would just have hunt days where we would go out and look for certain Funkos. Especially this past summer was when most of it happened, and we really started going out together and doing that. And depending on when you're listening to this, that would have been the summer of 2023.
Yep.
But also on top of the Funko Pops, which were the primary thing that I collected, and I had 500 of it at my peak, which he collected as well, like the wrestlers, and you have a couple. You like Rick and Morty, the
Yep.
Boys.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other ones you have?
Post
What are some ones you
Malone.
like?
I have
right.
Donald Duck. I have who else do I have? I don't really and then football. I think that's pretty much it. Cause there's
Right.
one,
You like a lot of the football ones
yeah,
that
and
you have there.
one day during the summer last year, actually, when they came out with the big wave of NFL Funko Pops, I went to our store, which I mentioned actually in the last episode that Sam will be surprised to hear, but I did mention Rhinos last episode, where we go. Love Rhinos comics and collectibles. One of our spot back home, and they do great
Best
service
collectible
there.
store in upstate New
It is.
York.
It is, and the owner's great. The workers are great, and they're
Yeah,
just great
everyone
people
there.
in general. But I spent probably like $85
On figurines, mind
on
you.
probably like six Funko Pops.
Yeah.
But they're like $10 to $15 each, which is pretty reasonable too. And the thing is too, you collect like a card, and if you buy 10 Funko Pops, you'll get the next one free
At that store.
at that store. Yeah.
So that's a great way to keep their business going. It's a real great strategy.
Yeah.
They do a lot of good like that. So, but also there at that store, and in general, the same company that makes these little Funko Pops, which are the figurines with the big heads and like the dot eyes and small bodies, they make these things called soda cans. So it's basically a tin shaped like a can of pop, like a Coke or whatever, Pepsi. And inside is a little figure. I don't know why they thought to pair a figurine with a soda bottle, but that's what they decided to do. So it was a nice tin can inside a figurine. So there is so each soda can, say it's a character, there's a variant version you can get of that character, because the soda cans are all sealed up in plastic. You open it up and you see if you got the variant character. So for each character, the chances of you getting the variant are 1 out of 6. So people will buy multiples and try and get in different ones, trying to get them, and they'll end up with a couple of sometimes multiples of the same figure because they're trying to get the rare one. So like duplicates of commons and all that. And they do that with Pops also. They're called chase variants. But with the Pops, it's only like 1 out of every couple waves will have the possibility of it being a chase. They don't do a chase or alternate version for every one. They only do it for select ones when it's Funko Pops. But for the soda cans, almost every one has a chase variant, which is the big draw to them. And I remember we went to Rhino's, our spot, and I was just starting to get into sodas. I think I did sodas for about a year. It was one of the things that came and went real quick because I just accumulated so many of them, and they were a lot more expensive, but a lot more profitable too, mind you, if you're thinking about getting into that kind of thing. So we go to our store, and I've been mentioned sodas to Camden before, and he will just like send me pictures of certain ones, like, oh, this one's cool, look for this one. But we walk into our comic book store, and Camden is a real cautious with his spending on collectibles. I'll say that. He doesn't get something just to get it. He doesn't really give into impulse.
Mm-hmm.
He's very selective, which is good because being impulsive in terms of buying something is something I've been guilty of, and it doesn't end well,
Yeah.
sometimes. Excuse me. We go into the store and they have a fresh case of soda cans there, and a case is 6, and in every case there's one chase. That's how they ship them out. So like if there's a display of 6 there and it's fresh, that there's a chase there. So that's one thing that's real good about that store. So we go in, and I won't say what character it is because they might still have them there or whatever. Just being cautious. We don't know how far this is going to reach, but just in case. So he just gets one out of the blue. He's looking at it like, this one's kind of cool. I think I'm going to get one. And I'm like, okay, because I was going to get one too, knowing that there's the possibility of getting the rarer one for sure because there were the 6. So we get out into my car, and he's doing his first because he also has a TikTok, if he didn't say it already, at Drex Collects.
No, I don't.
I'm
not doing it anymore.
You aren't?
No.
Well, it's still, the videos are still up there, so
I think so. Yeah.
you can check it out. I'm just saying for reference.
Yeah.
So he records it. He opens it up, and I'll be damned if he does not pull the Chase figure. And I was like, you got to be kidding me! Like this kid, like the first one he buys, like out of the blue, and he gets the rare Chase, which meant that I knew the one that I bought was just a regular one, because once you get the Chase, or you find the Chase out of the 6 there, all the rest of them are going to be regular ones because there's only one per case.
Can I play it? Here, I'll
No,
play
don't play it. Just play. Don't play the part where I talk. Just do the part where you open it up, because you were real excited about it. I was real happy for you afterwards.
Here, Colin. Come on. Is it black or white? Oh, I got a chance! Let's go!
Dude, I was so happy.
So Camden ended up getting into them as well. Very select few. He would order some from Amazon. He would get lucky, but we would go and hunt for them as well. And that was something we also bonded over, because I would get a couple and we would open them together. It was just a fun time. But now we're both in different states, and we don't have that opportunity as much anymore. And I'm also more selective with the ones I buy, because I mainly buy sodas in bulk to resell, which is pretty good if you can find the right deals, because unfortunately the soda cans and even Funko Pops in general are kind of dying down, which is a shame because it was such a big hobby. There was like a Funko Pop for everyone. Like if you had a favorite show at some point, like there was a Funko of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you could name it.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're really going down, like, because what their main flaw was, especially with the Pops, they just kept making the same figure, different versions of the same figure over and over and over again, instead of coming up with something original.
Exactly.
And now they're just sitting on the shelves.
Yep. That's why for me I kind of went to comics, because 1, they're cheaper, and 2, there's different variant covers, so it's kind of like the Chase to me. So,
that's right. So
and Sam's
that.
Well, hold on. But Sam is very selective on which comics he gets. He's definitely he gets his Transformers, and I haven't read it yet. But are they good?
I actually haven't either.
You haven't?
I haven't read the newest one.
Oh, so which one? 6?
6.
Yeah, 6. Okay, yeah.
So
I'm gonna start reading
the 6th
them
issue.
actually, so I can catch up with you and talk about it.
They're real quick. They're probably 15-minute reads at most.
Oh, okay.
They're very brief. So I've never been a big comic guy, or reading guy in general.
Me either.
I'm really starting to get into reading more, though. And really appreciate literature and what a truly just a really enjoyable thing it is. I never really took it seriously before. I think this is probably the most seriously I've ever taken reading and getting into books and the knowledge that they hold.
See, the thing is, for me, I can't do books.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a visual person. That's why I like comics, because I love art. I love the art and like how all the colors and all that. And I can read like little bits of words that go across.
You could probably do graphic novels then too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why graphic novels would be interesting too. And the thing is too, some comics can be graphic novels, which is crazy. And they're not too expensive.
graphic novel is. It's like a comic book setup, but just novel length,
Exactly.
like Watchmen or some
Hmm.
like anime stuff. There's a
Mangas.
term for that.
Yeah.
Mangas, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that. But the comics, they're real brief, and of course, the main draw to them is the art. So I was never a big comic guy, but a guy who works there that we used to go to school with, who I just knew, it's like a casual friend, brought it up to me because he knew I like Transformers. He was like, "Hey, these are just coming out and they're real hot. Like the Transformers ones have been flying off the shelves." So I was like, "All right, I'll take a look." So I've been starting to get those, and through starting to read a couple of them, I'm very selective. I've only gotten the Transformers and a couple
Hold
because I
on.
really a big fan of Predator.
Oh, Predator and Transformers. Sorry if Sam lagged a little bit. His Wi-Fi is acting weird, but
Oh yeah, it's my Wi-Fi. I
yeah,
can see myself just fine, pal. You're the one
yeah.
who's
Oh,
freezing up
yeah.
in the Tower of Brick over there in the GA.
No, whatever. But all right, let's.
So
Oh no, no. Keep
we
continue.
learned about variant editions in comics.
Hmm.
So through this guy, I learned that there are variant issues, and this is something that I passed on to Camden as well. So like, there'll be an issue of a comic. Say it's the first issue of Thrawn, which is one that I'm sure Camden will get into in a second because I'll let him take over. And it'll have, say, there's like a basic cover, which is just a common release, and on that cover there'll be a variant for the same issue, which is just as rare. But on some of them, certain printings, there'll be like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 25 issued printing. So there's like 1 out of every 25 printed will have a certain select cover on it. And he's flashing his Thrawn comic book to me right now. Y'all can't see it, but he's real proud.
Dude, it's gonna be
One of
such a
his
good read.
favorites.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm picky with the comics I get, like Sam told you guys earlier, and I'm gonna definitely during my spring break that I now am on. Thank God, I needed like a week off to like decompress from school and all that. But I'm just creatively like at a low, and it's just because of how much work I did for school and all that. But I'm gonna read my comics during this week, and then I'll talk to Sam, get caught up on Invincible and some shows, and then be right back into it for another 10 weeks.
How many comics have you saved up to read?
How many do I have? I have like 7 physical, and then I have a lot of digital ones.
Right.
Yeah, I have a lot of digital. Like I have all the Transformers. I'm trying to get all the Looney Tunes, like the originals, but there's a lot.
Getting the original Looney Tunes on digital.
Yeah, it's a pain.
How have you read any like yet in either
Oh,
format?
I've read Spider Punk. I've read the first one.
And you have that one physical, right?
No, I have that one
Digital.
digital.
So
I
how is it like? Because I don't do digital. How would you say it is digital compared to like reading it normally? Do you think that it's people? Because I know people really go for that like in hand feeling. Would you say that it being on digital like turns you away from it, or it's just as enjoyable?
well, the thing is for me, um, I'm a person that likes certain, so kind of like the whole Funko and the chases and all that. I would rather have the regular copies digital and then get the covers that are like the same price as the regular ones, but are the different ones that are going to be worth a little more. So it's like
Right.
the
And
other, yeah,
would you keep the rare ones like unread, like just in the sleeve?
yeah, I would.
So you get them more to collect instead of like
Exactly.
read and go through, and
Yep,
then you just keep the digital ones. That's a good way to do it.
exactly.
Because like you were like getting your fingerprints and the greasing up the pages and creasing them.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm
But with
afraid of too with time.
it's like some comics you wait a couple years get them graded. They're worth a pretty penny.
Exactly. Like it's not for the money for me, it's more the sentimental value that it gives me.
Right. That's what I'm going for more so with books and comics too. Because like I've just been starting to get into reading again. Like I know you said novels can't really hold your attention, but there are a couple you might try out that you might enjoy, like The Hobbit, which I
Mm-hmm.
just went through the first time because I was a fan of the movies. It's a decently light read. I'd say it's a light to mid read, but there aren't any pictures or any of that. It's all you just got to picture it all in your head. But it's a great, great story. So I would recommend that one to you just to try out. But if you can't get into it, then I know like Lord of the Rings or anything beyond that might not be your cup of tea. But I definitely think you should try that out, and books in general. You know, they're a really wonderful thing. Like, do you have a library on campus there?
Yes, but it's very weird. I don't know. I haven't gotten into it, but I don't think they have comics and like novels and all that stuff. But
Probably only stuff for references,
yeah,
like classes. I can't
exactly.
remember when I went to school how ours was, but I mean, I'm sure you have a public library too. You can just look it up, type in your zip.
Exactly.
I think they have graphic novels there too, so that could be something you get into. But also,
Maybe.
most colleges I know, like if you want to read a graphic novel, the best one of all time I know is regarded by a lot of people to be Watchmen. Have you heard of
Uh,
that one?
Yeah, I actually almost bought it a couple times actually.
Right. They say it's supposed to be one of the best graphic novels of all time. So good that they actually, some people do study it in college. So, like, if
Yeah.
there's a graphic novel to be in your school's library, it might be that one. So it'd be worth a check before you go and buy it.
Mhm. Yeah. But
Do you got anything else on that?
no, I think that pretty much covers it. Sorry if this is a longer episode. It's just me and Sam have had a lot of good times with each other. And
Right.
but all right, we got one more thing and then we can close. But what are your thoughts on social media and what you do with social media, and like what are your aspects on my like me doing social media and like how it not how it impacts our friendship, but like what I'm doing with like all these TikTok pages, and I've dialed down to now just doing the podcast, my reaction channel, and just yeah, just those two things really.
Well, we're kind of in like the generation right now where most people our age are obsessed with the social media craze, and that's really what it's become. I don't view social media very fondly. Like I'll just say that outright. I don't look at it very fondly upon it very fondly at all. Like I'll say it has its benefits, but I'd say like 99.9% of the stuff you see is just purely like just self-indulgent nonsense. But on the other hand, there is genuine people on there who put content out to genuinely like make people happy and benefit them and give them something to enjoy that's done purely to be good and to make something for other people. And that's what Camden does.
Yeah, I want to
And I
inspire
will
other
say that,
people.
and to inspire other people. And he doesn't do it to based on like how it looks back upon him. He does it for the true, genuine sentiment,
Yeah.
which is something you don't get with a lot of people nowadays. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you right now. Like a lot of the stuff you really do see out there, like people on YouTube, like the day in my life, or like all that other stuff, people
Mhm.
posting selfie upon selfie upon selfie, like Snapchat, Instagram, this filter, that filter. It's just all a bunch of self-indulgent, just garbage, really,
Yeah.
which is just they put out there to benefit just them. Like when you think about it, like what good is posting this picture of yourself zoomed up on your face with a thing like a mask over you, a filter that isn't even you, gonna benefit somebody else? What good is it putting out into the world? And the answer is none, really.
Mhm.
And that's where Camden kind of breaks the mold, and he kind of goes along. And I will say, he puts himself out there, and
I
you
do.
really do. Like whenever he sees an opportunity, he takes it, and it's something that he kind of got from Nick, especially with the TikTok thing, and
Yep.
he has grown that into something remarkably fast. You already have, I think, 6,000 followers right now,
Yeah, I've been busy
plus
with school. It's just
on
it
your reaction
sucks.
thing, and that's just with the small amount of time you've been able to put into it
Since last
right now.
September. Yeah.
Since a couple like less than half a year, and you've already grown that much. So just and it just means you've got plenty more growing to do. And like when you go into this full time, because I know you want to be uh like sort of social media management
Yeah,
and go into
around that
that
area.
field,
Yep.
and it's a great, you've already shown great incentive in doing that, and the potential and how you could really excel at that.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing overall as a whole, social media bad, but Camden's doing with it good.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And the thing is, like, I've tried all these different accounts, all these different freaking YouTube channels, all sorts of stuff. There's a lot out there that I've made in TikTok pages, but I think I found what I want to do. And put these podcasts are one because I get to talk to people like Sam and the great friends I have, and just the relationships I have with people. And then my reaction page, I can just express myself and how I feel about certain shows. And I'm watching one right now that I'm kind of behind on, but I'm just getting through it and I'm having fun with it. And sometimes they get views, sometimes they don't. I really don't care at this point. But I'm just trying to inspire people and just make people's lives better through my content. That's my goal.
And it's a very good one at that, pal. I'll tell you that.
I appreciate it, Sam.
All right, anytime, buddy.
But anything else you want to say to the podcast before you go? And we're gonna have another episode with Sam. It'll probably be in the future.
Oh, sure.
Definitely, probably this summer.
And we're definitely doing a group one, right? At some point, whether when you come home, if you do, or whenever, at any point where we can get the gang together, I'm sure there will be one.
Yeah.
And thanks. Just all I gotta say is thanks for having me on, and I hope your listeners and everyone just got something out of it, whether it be just a laugh or a smirk or smile, or they're just left with something good.
Exactly, and I know it's literally double or almost close to tripling the time that I usually have.
Split it into two.
I could, but no, I'm just gonna keep it one. I want to see if people actually listen to it.
Keep it 100.
If you guys can please leave a review just to let me know what you guys think of the podcast, it'd be greatly appreciated on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Which one do you listen to it on, Sam?
I listened to it on Spotify, but I couldn't find. Is it on Apple Music?
It is on Apple. No, not Apple Music. It's on Apple Podcast.
So I have to get a separate app for it. Oh,
yeah,
then no, I'll listen to it on Spotify.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Actually, it's so weird. I can see all the like stats of like how many people listen to it on Spotify, how many people listen to it on. It's really fascinating stuff, but it's really simple process.
Have you considered YouTube yet?
Well, I don't want to do the video. Like, there's no YouTube podcast that I can put in like audio wise. Like, you can't listen to audio. You have to have a video for YouTube.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could just put up a thumbnail and keep it like the same thing all the way through.
I know, but I don't know if people want to listen to that. That's the thing, because YouTube.
Use the picture. Use the picture you sent me the other day of like you out in like the front yard with the sunglasses on.
Oh no!
Just that the whole time.
But yeah, me and Sam always have some good laughs, talk, and have all sorts of fun. But I appreciate all you guys joining in and whoever's listening. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for the support. Thank you for the support, Sam. Thank you to everybody.
Of course.
I'm hopefully going to keep going and doing this weekly. And if I get busy with school, I'm sorry. I will let you guys know on social media. You guys can message me. It's my name. It's literally in the title. But thank you, Sam, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate you. We'll definitely have you on soon. Again.
Anytime, pal.
And it could be different stories. We have a lot of them, especially with Harney and Mike and Nick. But I don't even know who the special guest is going to be next week. And Sam just talked a lot this episode, but we were just going back and forth. It's okay. But, all right. Thank you guys for joining in for episode 4 with Sam the Man. And I will see you guys for episode 5. See you guys later. Bye.